Welcome to the Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Do you want to step up your game? Pursue your dreams. Be the best version of yourself. The Reinvented Life is here to help. The Reinvented Life is about courage. It's about staying relevant. It takes grit. It defies gravity. It's about taking inventory of where you are today and where you want to go. Embrace change. Make things possible and reinvent your life. Call in with questions at 888-994-4995. Now, it's time to reinvent your life with Pamela Chanel.
Well, good morning, everyone in California. Welcome to the Reinvented Life. So excited to be back here. You know, we're coming off of the Day of Love, Valentine's Day, and what we like at the Reinvented Life to say that every day is showing up with love. Every day is showing up with love for those around you, those who you come in contact with, but primarily love for yourself. And that really is what today's show is all about. No matter what is happening in your life, no matter what the adversity, if you are well enough, show up. And today is about showing up. I'm excited to have this candid conversation with Dawn and Freddie, the creators of AMP2 Media, the Brooklyn Cafe. And we're going to talk about, overcoming. And I think that's so important for people to realize that even if there's limitations in your life, as there is for me at the moment, you still show up and you still bring everything you can. So welcome, Dawn and Freddie, to the Reinvented Life, but welcome back to really 2024 as a year of all things are possible. And that's really what this conversation is about. Love being here with you guys.
Thank you for having us back.
It's been a long time. Welcome back to the network, as they say.
Yes, I'm excited about it. You know, the Reinvented Life Network is sort of on the brink of being born, and we're on the cusp of that. And I'm very excited about that. But, for those that are listening, it's been 10, 11 days ago, I broke my foot, and it's really thrown me into a whole new pattern. I can't drive. I've been in excruciating pain. That is lessening. But what I'm excited to talk to you guys about, whether it be something physical or something emotional or something that's happened in business, whatever the case may be, is how we can still show up and make a difference. And making a difference, is always at the forefront of what I do. So how are you guys? How has 2024 started out for you? And how can we all go forward making it the most inspiring year for all of us?
We are doing fantastic. Even better now that you're back joining us, because I know it's been a rough couple months for you, and we all have a couple rough spots going on. There's not anyone I talk to that isn't going through something. But you're right, you have to show up, because if you don't show up for yourself, then you can't show up for others. And most importantly, it's for yourself, because you can get sucked down this vortex of negativity, because there's always going to be another speed bump in the road, because this is life. And if we continue to let these bumps grow, right, these little molehills become mountains, and they become insurmountable in our minds. So I feel like we have to just show up for ourselves and keep showing up even when we don't feel like it, because there is always light. And that's why I'm so glad that even in adversity with your foot and all the things you've got going on, you're back, because you say it the best. You present the best. It's reinventing yourself over and over again and showing up.
Adjustments have to be made throughout the course of a year anyway. One of the things that I've been working on is not only the adjustments that I have to do, but the diversification that I want to do. For the first time in 19 years of doing this business, I am actually taking phone calls from California and San Francisco and southern San Diego, right, which is southern, more south from you, because we are now doing music businesses with mixers, with people down there in the music business. We are now also bringing in producers that you've met out in California. The wheels are in motion now to bring production west. A lot of good things happen out west, and we want people from the East Coast to learn a lot about what you're doing. But all of these adjustments are part of the norm in successful business, and you can't say me oh my and stop yourself because you got to figure it out. So one broken foot, okay, we use the other leg. We put you on a tricycle. We find a way of getting around it until you heal and keep going. But we can't stop growing. We got to keep finding another way, diversify, and make it better. So, and I'm sorry you're going through that pain, but that's a learned lesson. That's all it is.
It's interesting because the pain in the last 10 days has gone from excruciating, where I could barely breathe. I mean, I had never really felt that kind of pain, to a dull ache. And one of the awarenesses it's woken me up to is a greater appreciation if my mobility is limited in one aspect of my life. And I'm kind of using this as an analogy now. Let's make the most of what I can do. Yesterday, or on Tuesday, I did my first upper body workout. And I'm excited about this afternoon to come. I'm doing my second upper body workout and really emphasizing my shoulders and my arms and my abs and my back, and keeping that as strong as possible so it can carry me through.
We've got a new producer in the studio, and she has a faith-based show that she's going to bring forward. And it seems, we talked about it on the morning show, if you can hold faith in space in what God or the universe, the higher source, brings you, then it's easier to get through some of the other things that happen in life. Otherwise, this physical world that we live in can be overwhelming sometimes, but we have to hold on to the greater good.
Having the faith is everything. That's such a perfect message. And I too, even as expert as I am in reinventing, I too have to continually look at what is there next to learn. I know for myself and my journey of improving my health, there still is a need and a way to increase the connection between my mind and my body. And so that is what this lesson, I know, is all about for me. It's taking a pause and looking at exactly what you're talking about, Don, which is having the faith that if the way you're doing something is not the most favorable for you, the universe is going to help you pause and take a look at what's next. And I know this increased awareness between my mind and my body, and being sure that I'm aligned with, my soul is aligned with the direction I'm going, is something that is a gift that I want to bring forward and overcome this limitation, because the limitation is only the way I look at it. And now as I look at it as a gift, it's something that I can then gift forward.
Well, I got a question for you. There's a riddle that goes on, and the riddle is this: you want to be successful. That's a given. You know that you're going to have to make sacrifices in order to get that done. That's a given. But I want to focus on, do you really understand what it is that you now deem successful? A lot of people, they have dreams and goals. Some of them are attainable, some really are not. And they measure their success on whether or not what they want is going to be achievable. And sometimes you have to make an adjustment to get a version of what you're looking for until you get to that next level. But you got to keep going. But you have to have inner understanding of what you want to accomplish. If you don't have that inner understanding, then you have to meet somebody like you that will give them the coaching tools to find it. And that is the part that I want people to understand. Change is great. Diversification is great. Adjustments are great. But you have to understand what it is that you want to get on your journey. Where do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? And be honest with yourself.
Well, I would start by saying that success is not stagnant. Success is not a rock, and it's not even one particular destination. So I would start by answering what you're talking about, which is the key and core to it all, is realize that success is moving. So the key is for one's mind, one's body, one's spirit, one's soul to move with it. And what can be considered success in whatever aspect of one's life at any point in one's life, know that the ability to constantly reevaluate that, constantly figure out if it's still relevant, and move along with it is the first part of success. Because if we set our eyes, set our intentions only on one particular destination, there's ultimately going to be disappointment. So, in a way to avoid disappointment, know that success is acting as a pendulum. Success is a motion, not a destination. And that is the key to begin to achieve this success. Set it as a motion, set it as something that's dynamic and that's not stagnant.
Do you think that success is success, or is it the journey we're on that helps define the success?
It's absolutely the journey. It's absolutely the motion in getting to where the next step is one life we want to be. Because if you set your sights on only one thing, and the dynamics around us change, we change, the outside, the inside, the world, the dynamics, something happens, then we're feeling immediately our minds are so powerful that we're feeling like we can't get there and it's insurmountable. So if we see the success, and I love this conversation, as the motion in getting there, and know that success can be one small step. As you were just talking about, years and years of doing something one way is no longer going to be how people can measure that success, just as you said. So it's how we measure it and how aligned with where it is we want to be. Oftentimes we have these great goals. We have these benchmarks to reach these goals, and then we reach them and they're no longer relevant. And this can be true in friendships, this can be true in relationships, this can be true in work, this could be true in any aspect of one's life. So the constant being honest with oneself and asking oneself constantly the questions: is this making me happy? Is this bringing me joy? Is this bringing me closer to a lifestyle that makes sense for me now? Is it a more advantageous position than I was in yesterday? That is starting the measurement of success.
You know, I feel like I'm thinking about the conversation you said about life giving you pause. And we've been discussing the Reinvented Life Network for years of growing this with you. And things get busy and busy and busy. But now, in my mind, this is God, the universe, saying, you know what, Chanel? You're not going anywhere. You're home. Let's focus on this and growing this because now you have the time to focus on really what's next for the Reinvented Life Network. It's what people need, it's what they're craving for. And now you've got a captive audience because you're not driving anywhere for the next few weeks.
I think, yeah, no, for almost the next 3 months. I mean, I am set. But the reason I think it's so relevant is the narrative has changed. We've looked at what's happening around the world and we've realized that there's so much that we can do to positively impact our own lives when it feels sort of like the world is going crazy. Let's take our own lives and make them saner. And part of it is the narrative that people, I think, whether it's in a personal way, in a business way, are seeing that their stories are important. And that's really what the Reinvented Life Network is all about, is showcasing, and that's why I'm so excited about it, people that have messages, people that have talents, people that have stories to share, to inspire others to bring their own stories out. And I think it's taken a long time for people to realize the importance of their own stories. So many times, clients of mine that are looking at their businesses or looking at their lives don't see the importance of what they bring to inspire others. When we can positively affect the collective, positively affect the groups and those people around us, it elevates the vibration. It elevates the positive energy that can be brought through. And that's why the timing is such that the Reinvented Life Network is made to happen right now, because people can actually showcase their stories, showcase their journeys, and realize that they don't have to have everything done, but their influence and their impact can inspire the next person to follow their desires, their new businesses, their new place in life, if you will.
I think being that you are you're restricted and you got to be in one place. I think we should have a networking party for the Reinvented Life. And people that want to do business or people that are doing business, and we bring them on. And let's hear the story. And let's find out if we have the components to making the network bigger on all these people that will come. I mean, you're not going anywhere anyway. So the bottom line is let's bring the party, let's bring the networking party to you so that you can line them all up. We'll put them on the air. We'll check out and see which ones are more comfortable doing it this way. Some people are not comfortable doing it the way you're doing. You got to have a lot of inner security to do it this way. But we can find out the easiest way for them to deliver that message via the network and getting it done on this method. I would like to do a networking party and bring them into the Reinvented Life Network party, for lack of a better phrase.
That's such a brilliant idea. Brilliant, of course.
Of course.
Collectively, again, together, there's so much farther to go when we put our ideas together. And people's stories are not just important to how it's affecting their life, and as I mentioned, inspiring others, but it brings new possibility to people that they had never thought of. Why not bring them all and let's do it? Let's do it very soon. And I want to bring a half dozen people on here and have them share their stories and what they're up to in life and how reinventing their life is affecting them, because it'll start to get other people thinking about what they can do in their own life. I call it the domino effect. I think a lot of people have heard this term before, but oftentimes our lives just become these dominoes. If you picture lining them all up and you tip the first one, then this happens, and that causes the next thing, and that causes the next thing. And I think we take it for granted that things are just going to fall in line as they should. But what if we pulled one of those out? Or what if we changed the direction of one? Or what if we slowed that process down enough to think, I have a talent, I want to bring it forward. I need a group around me to help me do that. That's really what this
That's
is all
brilliant.
about.
I got to tell you, I would be remiss if I don't say my condolences for the San Francisco 49ers not winning the Super Bowl. But I got to tell you something. There was no loser in that game. That game was incredible. But it goes to show you the better team that day did not win because the other team made adjustments and they kept going at it and it wasn't working for the very first half of that game. They kept going what they normally do and then they started to make little adjustments during the game. And San Francisco, in my estimation, they wanted it so bad they were trying too hard. But in business, sometimes you try too hard and it's not successful because you're not visualizing your adjustments, the changes. Everybody wants to win, I get it. But you have to play within your framework, what works for you, because sometimes it could be a slight little thing that you're good at. And all of a sudden, you take off, and they won. And they won in overtime. They had no aspirations of winning that game during the regular game. They had to go to an extra session to do it. Business is the same way. Repetition in business, important. Visualization, important. Delivery, important. These are things that people can't take for granted to get it done right. And it's just, especially today, the way things are right now.
Well, I appreciate the sentiments and the condolences of them not winning, but everyone I've talked to about this in the last few days, being a native San Franciscan, being so supportive of what goes on out here. But I got to tell you, I've never really thought of them as losing. I really didn't. I think it was a very interesting game, as you pointed out, very different in many ways, which is indicative of what times are like today. But I still have to remind myself and remind people that have talked to me about this game that they're actually both winners. They both made it to the highest level you can make it in that sport in that season.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing to concentrate on. Again, winning or success, this is right along the line with how we started this conversation, should not be measured down to or diluted down to who won or who lost. I think they both won. I really do. I think they both won. Of course, someone has to come out with the higher score or in life one step that takes them over the top. So, congratulations to Kansas City as well in that respect. But I think we lose sight when we meet ourselves in places that are already top tier, that are already both winning. That's what should be celebrated. And I think the celebration of getting yourself at a place in life that you've stepped up and you've put things in place that get you there, that's what's really important. So I think I congratulate, of course, Kansas City, but I think the 49ers should be congratulated too, that they made
Absolutely.
it to this top.
The 49ers were the better team that day. I got to tell you, they were the better team.
But don't you think that is with anything in life? It's back, like you said at the beginning. It's not necessarily who's winning and how you measure success, but it's your journey in life and what you bring to the table for you and those around you, what your message is, what your calling is.
It's exactly what it is. We all are playing or should be playing. And I think that's a great way to put it. We all should be playing our own Super Bowls every day.
Yeah.
And it's about becoming better at what we've done, not necessarily by the tactical, right? You can talk about who was a better team, who had, the better plays, better tactics, and so forth, the logistics, if you will. Those are all the outside things. But how do we measure it in terms of, are we aligning ourselves with our own soul? Are we aligning ourselves with the best version of ourselves every day. That's really if we're playing our own Super Bowl. The competition is not about who gets a higher score, who does something faster, who does this or who does that. But is it as meaningful of what we're doing in our lives today as it was yesterday? And if it's not, do we rewrite our own, as I was saying earlier, narratives, our own stories about getting us to a place where we know, if you just ask 100 people, people are going to know instinctively if something's feeling right, if something's bringing them joy, if something is bringing them happiness. And it's not to say that every moment of every day is going to be that. But if we look at an honest reflection of what we're doing, are we heading more into that direction? We are very blessed. And I think oftentimes people lose sight of the freedoms we have, the ability to make these choices and to do the things in our lives we want. We look around the world and it's very apparent that there are many places and times and eras of time in the world that people are not as blessed, that they don't have as many freedoms, that they are not able to make these choices or don't have the resources we have. And so if we take into account the reminders of how blessed we are, how much gratitude we need to live in for what we have, and look at the possibilities instead of the impossibilities, we want to detach ourselves from impossible anything. And if we attach ourselves to the possibilities and only allow that to happen, that is what is going to shift. That is what is going to make things easier for people and, again, more joyous and happier.
Let's do call to action. Give Chanel a call. Give us a call. Even if we don't know you, it doesn't make a difference. We can do it vice versa. In other words, you can have people, we can have people, and then we mix and match them all in one. We're doing an hour special or something on this thing to get everybody in. I just think that, 2024, that's the year we're in?
Yeah, that's what we're at.
2024 right now, you got to do something different, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're bound to make the same mistakes you did last year. And this year is less forgiving than last year, because everybody's back in their game, and you want to be numero uno at what you do. At least you want to be in the game, Playing in the Super Bowl, just getting there is an accomplishment. Winning and losing, on any given Sunday, but you got to get in the game. And so you can reach out to us. You can reach out to her. Let's get this done. We'll put it on the top of the show as well, a phone number, so they can reach us.
Hopefully put on the board info at thereinventedlife.com. It is the best and fastest way to reach me. Please put that up on the board, because I want people to know that this is all about a conversation. And it is incredible what can happen through coaching, through mentoring. I know for myself, I engage with mentors. I engage with coaches. I would really encourage people, don't be afraid of that. I've put something in place for 2024, which is incredible. It's an afternoon, basically, or a morning, whatever works with people's schedule, but an afternoon or a morning with me. It's a success session. It's a discovery session. It isn't a commitment for long-term coaching yet, but it is a one-time 3 to 4 hours. We take a nice break. It's very scheduled, but we take the time out of people's lives for them to spend the time to reflect on all of these things. And this is making a huge difference. So if anyone is looking, that's hearing or listening to this, and want to take a look at the relevancy of what's going on in their businesses and in their life, reach out. It is a fantastic experience.
Very nice.
Chanel, thank you so much for having us. And the biggest sign I think you know that you're on the right path is you had a hummingbird fly right onto your new balcony. So who gets a hummingbird, especially when that's your logo?
No, in my home. It flew into my home and stayed. I had a visit with that hummingbird for almost 3 hours. I called
Wow.
the local humane society finally to help me get it out because, again, I was immobile. But hummingbirds typically fly high. They can fly tens of thousands of feet. They're really amazing creatures. They fly forward, they fly backwards, they fly sideways. But the beautiful part of this, as you say, this is the company logo because of the nature of the hummingbird. Flew in for a visit. You don't get to see hummingbirds for more than a moment because they're so fast. And it stayed for hours. And the gal that helped from the Humane Society was incredible and says the first time in 7 years they had heard about a hummingbird flying inside anywhere. So it was extremely exciting. It
Thank
is on
you.
the right path. It's
Thank
just
you
fine.
so much for having us. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Reinvented Life Network.
Thank you.
We are so excited to see you grow in 2024. How many shows and people and ideas and callings you can bring forward. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you both. Always love our conversation. So honored to be in business with you both.
Feel better, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Tune in each week so we can work and grow together to become the best version of ourselves. Keep striving, keep dreaming, keep working, and embrace change. You may contact Pamela Chanel at info@thereinventedlife.com.